Hi everyone, it's Rosemarie here with 505 Crafts, and you're probably wondering like, what the heck is this girl doing with all this mess? And what I wanted to share with you guys, this is a response to Jade Hopkins. She wanted to see what I used to create my mixed media journal, or what I used to, you'll see the mixed media book. And let me go through run through of the tools that I mostly use when I'm doing all of this, and they could be at different times, but something that I've learned from the get-go after ruining so many clothes is get yourself an apron. And I won this Ranger apron from Swirly Doos, and it's loved. It has lots of paint and lots of glitter and stuff all over. Get an apron. I've ruined so much clothes thinking that, oh, it's just acrylic, water base, or whatever. It's gonna come out. It doesn't come out. Number two thing, I love my heat tool. Look at my fingers. I just finished painting. That's how I remembered I had to do this video. The heat tool. I really wanted the Ranger one because it's really quiet. But you know what? I got this 50% off with the coupon. And this is the Recollections, and it works great. It has a cover. It's hot right now, but that cover protects it, and I love the color. So let's start over here. These are some of the tools that I use to work with my mixed media. Of course, the Tim Holtz. I have just a whole box, and I promised myself I'm not going to get any more as much as I want more. This is a nice, beautiful bin my friend Sandy gave me for Christmas, and I'm thankful for it because it's a paint box. So it holds all my little paints, and I'm not particular of what brand I use. I'll use whatever I can get my hands on. And I think this is Michael's and Walmart, wherever I can get it. And if you're starting out to paint, don't go buy all the colors. I tend to buy a gold and a silver. If I'm getting a blue, I might as well get a white because this is going to make baby blue. So now you have 3 colors with 2 instead of doing this. So it's really up to you, depending, or basically if you want to come up with this color, this is what you're going to use. The white, the blue, and then just put a lot more white to get this baby blue. But because I'm lazy and I want all the colors and I want instant gratification, I don't want to work hard at it. That's why I have all the paints. But they do go bad and they do get like clumpy. So I stick to the really inexpensive ones at Walmart. And again, I'm rambling. Gesso is a must to start as a base on most any project. Even when I'm painting a resin piece, I used gesso first, and then I went through with the distress paint to give it some shine, some gold and some silver. I don't know if you could really see that. I'm not my lighting is not that great anyways. But it gives it a base for you to work with. So that's a must, and I bought this one for $5 at Hobby Lobby because I got it with the coupon. I love stickles, and I try to use stickles in everything, and I also use glossy accents. And of course I use my Mod Podge. Love this stuff. I use it on everything. I bought distressed stains, but I wasn't too happy with them. They're just watered down paint to me. But like again, when I'm trying something new and I want to get like a feel for it, I always go with the colors that I know I could end up using in something, just like today. I used it on that little angel. So I always get like gold, silver, bronze. Gold, silver, bronze, because you know that's going to match with everything. Same thing. I just got these, and I actually am so in love with these. These are so nice, and I probably will try to stick to just these 3 colors. I may get a red, just because red's a nice color to have as well. I also use gelatos, and I wasn't a fan of these. You have to use a base on this. You have to use gesso or like a glossy accent in order to move them, because they're like kind of like chapstick, basically. They're movable. And then of course my sprays. I love using sprays. And I started buying these ones when they first came out, and I loved them, and I stopped buying anything else, and I love how colorful they are. I want to get into Lindy's, but because I have so many sprays and the ones that I've made, I want to kind of use what I have first. This one is here because I make my own spray. I'm going to go into detail with that. And I got this because it's hard to find a brown. This is a good brown. In those Suneko walnut stains. So this is what I use to make my colors. So this is just a soft gel paste color. And then this is for airbrushing. And I get the Silver Sheen airbrush. So if I want some kind of like sheen or gold or highlights, I use the airbrush because of course it's getting through your airbrush. It's watered down, so it's going to give you that metallic. And then these ones are really thin because of course they have to squeeze out, and they break up really easy in there. And this is how they look afterwards. They work really fine. You add more, you get a darker pigment. They work perfect, and I just add water. That's it. And those will last me forever. I tried using the Wilton's, and Wilton's has this as well. And I tried using the Wilton's paste. Didn't work. It stayed clumpy in my little bottle. And so we're going to go on to stencils. When I first started and I wanted to try different techniques, I made my own stencils. I'd print off stuff off the internet. You'll see I use this on the front of a cover. And I sprayed through it, or I outlined through it. I saved a doily just to get that border. I glossy it with a Mod Podge. I got a girl from a magazine and just Mod Podged her onto something just so I could use her in my book. And I keep those. Things like this. It's just one of those color matches for makeup. And, you know, circles are in. You know, you could get a lot of stuff. These things you could create, paint textures, the stuff that you, those little powder puffs that you use in the shower, like those mesh, those, or if you have pantyhose that tore, you could use those, you know, like the fishnets, you could use those as well. And believe me, when I first started with stenciling, I had this stencils. Of course, sometimes I'm messy and don't clean them, but I just had like the basic. I had my like little kid stuff that I got a hold of a big pack for a couple bucks, I think, at the dollar store. And I just put them in order there, and that's what I used when I first started. And then, of course, here it is. And sorry, there you go. See, I told you I use them. I just do different stenciling, different paints, water things down. I did some paper piecing at the bottom. This is a stamp. So I just colored the outside just because I wanted to add some texture to it since it was for stencils. And then on the inside, I tried to put them all. These are the ones that I have to keep on, you know, doing. Don't forget, you could use these for great stuff. Those are my Prima ones. I'm sure you can't see them, but I use whatever I can. And sometimes I find great deals, like on these ones on Etsy. I got these for a couple of bucks each. And so if you're looking for something that they have that they're really expensive, maybe on Etsy there's an alternative, or you can find something. So I had a hard time trying to see them, so I sprayed it on a piece of paper and then I stored it. So this is how I did it. And these are like the ones that I get from Hobby Lobby and Michael's and Walmart. And they're the basic designs that you need for any kind of stenciling. And then I got the really nice ones. And again, another paper one that I just cut out and I saved so I can use that. Those are, I think they're the High Swap ones. That's a Hobby Lobby. And so sometimes I'm messy and I don't clean them right away, but oh well. Sue me. And see, here's that one. Again, I don't clean them. And so that's how I store them. And so let me move on to the next thing. Then when I'm paper piecing and have pieces of different papers in there, and you'll see that I use dictionary paper. What else did I use? Well, you'll see the papers that I have in the background. I originally had everything in a notebook this size, but it was too small for me. So I save my doilies, anything that's loose. I tear up the papers that I get from like the yard sales or like savers and stuff like that. I get books for $0.25 and I take them apart to use them in different mixed media as backgrounds. Some bigger doilies, some square doilies, just different fun designs. And this is easy to carry with me if I decide to go to a crop with some friends. Instead of carrying a whole dictionary, you carry dictionary paper. I had an old vintage book, and so I just keep adding on to there. So that makes it easier for me to store and carry. So here we go. Oh, brushes. I'm not too picky about brushes. Whatever is really inexpensive. Not the too cheap, like from the dollar store, like these ones. These ones aren't worth the poop. But like, you know, Walmart brand is cool. And I just mix them up and use them. And then the other ones are over here that I used earlier is right there. So, here we go. I had my little cousin, she's about, I think she's 17, and she was about 15 at the time, and she drew this for me and painted it. She is an awesome artist. I wish I could draw like this. Gosh, I just dream of drawing like this and painting it as well. That's the hard part, so I'm going to go through this really quick. I hope you enjoyed the video, Jade. This is my first page. I was just watching some videos for inspiration. I used glossy accents. This is when it was new to me. I wanted to see what it was and how it worked. And so that's how I learned different techniques. I try it out, see what it looks like. Is it going to go through the paper? Is it going to cause a mess? This is your mess book. This is your trial and errors. This is your how you're feeling today. Or you're trying to blend two colors. You're not sure if they're going to match on a project. And why waste a whole project? And you could do just a paper with those colors. So, and then I just do different cutouts, stencils, stamping, anything I can find. Again, this is one of the sprays that I used in the background with that airbrush stuff. And that was a wood piece, and I used flowers for his wings. And then I did a spraying in the background, and then I paper pieced. And I believe in true love, and I eventually will find my prince. And here are just some things that I really like. I love wings and keys, and I just, since there was wings, I wanted to put a cherub and then a bird and some flowers. And I just want to fly away. And I know that we've always felt like this, or at certain points when you're somewhere, or even in Walmart, you're like, oh, that awful feeling of being watched, or do you know when somebody's watching you? So when I was looking at a magazine, I was like, gosh, there's so many eyes in this magazine. And I was like, oh, this would be a fun technique to try. So I kind of cut up the page, kind of spooky, and I just did something fun and different, crazy. Just an idea that came to my head, and I did it. And then just some different techniques. Instead of dripping the paint down, I dripped from the bottom up, just flipping it over. And that's just watering down your paint. Paper piecing, painting from the inner out with different colors to get this look. On this one, I tried learning how to mask. So I did a really bright color and circles in the background. Then I masked it with masking tape. I painted white, and then after it dried, I went back and, not after it dried, this little guy dried it for me because I am impatient, so this dries my paint really fast and I keep going. Other than that, I probably wouldn't have one of these. This one I put Let It Be, and the reason why is because I have to be in control. I'm a perfectionist. I wanted it to be really nice and pretty. It had a really bright pinks. I had went from light to dark blue, and oh my gosh, I was in love with it. And I said, it needs sparkle, so I sprayed, and it spread the black out, and I was so pissed off. So I got my paper towel as a whole roll, and if you do that, sorry, I was reaching. So when you're going to dry your paint up from a page, when that happens, don't take off a piece. Kind of do the press and roll type technique. So most of the time I usually have like a strip of black or some color here, because that's how I clean up my mess. Even my craft mat, I just go like this and so I don't waste. So it made a mess, and then I said, oh my gosh, I want to start all over. And I said, you know what, let it be. Because after I cleaned it up with the paper towels, it worked out just fine. This is one of my favorite sayings, and I decided to paint my own leopard, live, laugh, love, repeat. That's the way we should live life, right? Here I tried a glue gun technique. Here, at first I started with the stuff that you, the puff paint for clothes, and it took forever to dry. So I tried a couple with glue gun because I didn't have the thinner glue gun. And I had the thinner one than this one, but I love this Adtech 2 Temp. And I just went through, stamped some images, and then went back and traced with the puff paint or with the glue gun. Then I let those dry, went back and painted, and then did some watering, a watercolor effect. And I love the way it looks. So I ended up making my ant like this jar, and I decoupaged a napkin with flowers, and then I went over the flowers with the glue gun. And it looked really nice. Here I watched a video of Lamar Weber, and she's a fantastic artist. And she did some gesso or some paints and added like a sand. I don't know what kind of special sand it was, and I still don't know. And I went around my craft room and I started looking, and all I could find was these little beads. See those? It worked. For me anyways. So for the moment, it was just trial and error and trying her different techniques. This one I just did some pinks and purples, and I used one stencil. As you guys saw how messy it was, I used the lightest color in the back and then started going all the way up to try to seem like if there was a pretend peacock here. And I love peacocks, they're so pretty. So Vivid Beauty. This one, I had found a book that had a really vintage flower pot, and on the flower pot, I didn't realize it until after I started painting around it, that it had this small medallion, and I'm talking about the flower pot was big, and it had so many dark colors, and I didn't even realize that was there. And so when I saw that, it reminded me of me and my Chihuahua, and his name is Zeus. So I decided to heck with the flowers, and I love the image, so I went from there. This one was a hot mess. I got frustrated. I tore the paper. I just said, you know what? I'm not going to tear it out. And I just painted my hands. I went bam, bam, you know. And it came out pretty cool. It was just a different fun technique. A lot of people actually like it. They're like, oh, that looks cool. And it was just a hot mess. We'll just call that one a hot mess. This one I was talking to a friend. I had just got those gelatos. And in the background you see the dictionary. And I decided to go through. And while I was talking to her, she just broke up with her boyfriend, so I decided to kind of go with what she was feeling and what I was thinking, and went with the whole hearts and love has many chances. If you don't succeed the first time, try again and again and again. Open your heart. There you go. This one, again, I did the crackle technique as I laid down the dictionary paper in the background. After I put on the second coat of the glossy Mod Podge, I went through and added a thin layer of paint, and so I did the crackle, and then I went from there. Really fun and easy. I added a lot of paint with the back of one of my paint. I learned this, I think, on YouTube. I can't even give credit to the right person. It could have been Lamar, but I'm still not sure. And so you layer on a thick layer of paint. Again, everything has gesso on the bottom. And I layered on the colors that I wanted my tree to be. And then so you kind of do the swirl, give it a couple of knots, you know, like a tree would look. And I did the whole page, and you could see it on the background, you know, where it shines on it. And I didn't like that it was just the whole page, so I decided, hey, go with the tree. So I painted around it and made a tree. And then I remembered seeing this in someone's house with my sister-in-law's mother's house, and it says, when in doubt, look up. Isn't that true? No matter who your God is, when you're in doubt, you look straight up and you're like, please, God, help me. This one, my grandmother's favorite color, and we had been hanging out a lot, and we still do. But I was just thinking I need to make a page about her, so I layered some Prima flowers flat down on the background. And they were like, you know, those paper ones. Let me see if I can find one. These ones. You could use any paper flowers or even the ones you punch. And I started painting, adding some gold in the background, and I just put words that what I was thinking about her, and I wrote something about her really quickly. Here I used just a gloss Mod Podge, laid that down and did a spray on top, and obviously it's not going to absorb the sprays, but it kind of left a cool technique afterwards. That one I just used mirrors, painted some flowers. I sprayed some flowers and just, I had first did the background, and then I remembered I had this paper, so I did strips in between the paint. Just to give it a fun, cool, different technique. Another fun, different technique, just swirls with bright fluorescent colors. Isn't that fun? And here, I layered the music sheet down, and then I whitewashed it and added pink more on the outside. I have this, what is it? Oh no, that is a stencil. And then these are stamps. And then this is that tape. I can't think of it. But I felt like it was, she's singing to the bird, and the bird is in love with her, like just happy. And then I used stickles. It's so pretty. This is when I was using texture paste, and I made my own texture paste with gesso. And all it is, and you could see the texture there. I looked online because I didn't want to go buy something else again. So recently I made some with cornstarch and gesso, and it thickened it up pretty good. On this one I used baby powder. So it just gives it a little bit different of a technique, and you can feel it here and here. And then did some faux painting around and added some K & Company pieces. Same thing here, and then I used glossy accents, I think, here. Let that dry. I had stamped an image, but because, again, I'm not a great artist, I just painted over the image with the paints. That one's just crazy. It was just a new stencil, and I was trying something new. Not my favorite, but it's crazy. This one, there was a mistake on the bottom. It had got the new Tim Holtz stamps. And I used that clear, like, embossing stuff. And so afterwards I sprayed it with one of those dilution sprays. And then I got the red one and sprayed in the middle because that was the messed up one. And I said, ooh, that looks like a sun. So I went with it and used stickles, and this is a wood piece. Here is where I use my magazine girl. And one of those, the other half of this paper doily, I didn't waste it. I cut half and I stenciled through the other part. And I put strike a pose, and I put a picture and put flowers, and just mix media. Just go with the flow, go with what you feel, go with what you have. And here I watched a guy, if I could draw this eye and this nose, so can you. I can't even remember his name. But he was teaching where the positions of the face were, and that's the hardest thing for me. And I drew a nose while watching him on YouTube, and I just decided to add it in my book. And here, my nephew got here when I had first laid down the first layer of color, and he was like, I want to do it, Auntie. And of course I helped him. He picked out all the colors. He sprayed with the little toothbrush, and I put his handprints there and put his name. I had did with stickers, and then did that outline with the spray, and then I went back in and painted them in and just wrote something about it. And I thought that was fun. And then he says, can I paint my own? I let him. Then I let him again. He's like, can you write my name? That was me writing his name, just in a hurry. He was like, help me. Then other brother comes. I have 4 nephews. And he's like, I need to do my own. And there's the Sandia Matadors. That was his inspiration after learning, you know, the spraying, the toothbrush, you know, getting the toothbrush upside down in the paint watered down. And he was so excited with stickers. then he peeled off the stickers. And then in between that, I was teaching some different techniques to them, and I was telling them what they can do if that's what they want to do later on. I do all their art projects with them and all their school projects. Then brother number 3 came, and baby brother came back while we were inside eating, and he got a hold of the paint because we didn't pick up our mess right away, and he smushed it all. So other brother was pretty mad. So there's 4 of them. This is baby messing up number 3's. And last night, I had these, my mom was throwing away these puzzles. They're the kids' puzzles. And it reminded me of her because she can do a puzzle in one day or one night. And she loves leopards. So I'm not done necessarily with this page. I just wanted to scatter them because she drives me nuts. She's very puzzling to me. And she's a great person, like very pretty, luxurious. And just the leopard just reminds me of my mom. So I have more to add on to this, but it all started because I didn't want to waste the paint that I had not finished on a project. And it had glitter on some of it, and then when I wanted to paint the rest, it didn't have enough. So I just left it as is. Anyways, I'm going to add more stuff, and this will be about my mom. So hope you enjoyed that. I still have much more to go. When you're cleaning, like say you spray on top of like one of your stencils, open up the back of your book. Let me see if I show you. And smash it, or in between a page, and just smash it. That way when you get back to that page, you'll know. Or if you're testing out a color and you don't want it to mess up, like let me show you. So say we just sprayed with the spray, and there's the back of this. So you can move to the next page. And there's the other side of it. So that's how I kind of clean them off first, and then I'll take them to the bathroom and rinse them off, or just use a baby wipe. But I don't waste. I make sure to always go and smash, and I don't care if it gets against the other page because it's not much. So hope you enjoyed that. That's my book. That's my whole mixed media book, and my art journal. And I hope you really enjoyed that and got some inspiration from that, and I hope you just do a lot of homework on YouTube. There's a lot of fantastic artists on there, and there's so much to offer on YouTube. I self-taught, and I look, watch, read, do whatever I can, and of course the fellow YouTubers, you guys are awesome. Hope you guys have a good one. Bye-bye. Have a good night. Whole 28 minutes.